Hey beautiful vloggers, it's your girl Kim, and today we are going to be breaking down Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta Season 1 Episode 4. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe. That way you can get the latest on every subject that Shay and I talk about. We do a couple of recap and reviews, we do some gossip vlogs, we'll also be vlogging soon, and other stuff to come. So be sure to subscribe. Also like and comment below as well if you're into this show, because a lot of people are. And let me tell you, this episode, it was named correctly. And it was called You Don't Know Me. And if you happen to see me look down a little bit, it's because I took a couple of notes, because there was a lot of things going on in this episode that pointed out to me. And ooh, so let's go ahead and get started. So this episode started off where it left off at on the last episode, on episode 3. So basically, it's Tiny, Toya, and Miss Deb finishing up their conversation regarding Brandon and his rude comment to Reginae about Lil Wayne and his career, how he could have helped Lil Wayne's career. Okay, whatever. And then how he was being rude to Zonique and saying all these mean things about her at her photo shoot. So it was a weird vibe, because like Miss Deb was like trying to excuse Tiny from the situation, though the situation was about her daughter as well, so I can see why Tiny was there. But all in all, like in the conversation, Toya and Miss Debs was still going at it, because of course Toya is going to defend her daughter, which I get, and of course Miss Debs is going to defend her son. So they basically agreed to disagree, but they hashed out their differences and no bad blood was shedded, I guess you can say. But did y'all notice how Brandon was sitting on the sidelines like a little baby? What's up with that? Like, you the main cause of this. Like, he should have went over there, you know, as a man and said, you know what, I was wrong for saying this about your husband's career. I mean, not husband, I'm sorry. Ex. Alleged ex. Something like that. I was wrong for saying that about, you know, Lil Wayne. And then, you know, Tiny, I was wrong for, you know, making this commotion at Zonique's photo shoot. Ended there. But no, he just sat on the sideline like a little baby. So in the next scene, Zonique is in a studio doing her thing. And of course, who pays her a visit? Bow Wow. So that was because it was requested by Tiny. Like in the last episode, she was calling Bow Wow to see if he, you know, he could convince her to stay focused and motivated in the studio and blah, blah, blah. But may I compliment you, Zonique, on your outfit? You make me want to pull out my camo stuff that I got in the storage. Like, I'm sitting up here like, this girl know how to dress. And that the other people in the other episode was sitting up there talking about you. Anywho, so she basically was telling Bow Wow about how she's, you know, transitioning from a kid into a grown woman, and that she tells him that she's no longer working with Brandon anymore, and that she basically wants Miss Debs to be her manager. But Bow was like, you know, because, you know, Tiny is managing Zonique. So Bow was basically telling her like, well, you know, that kind of ruined my relationship with my mom, having a momager, which I can get that. Sometimes you need to separate your mom from your manager. Like sometimes it's hard for them to transition to, especially if the mom has been in that field, which we all know Tiny has, not necessarily the hip hop field because of T.I., but you know, really she's been in the music industry, period. So it could be, she could be probably a little bit too hard on Zonique. But in my opinion, she needs it, because your mother has been there. Like, your mother has walked in your shoes, if not that, further in your shoes. So whatever about that. But she basically tells Bow that she wants to sit down and meet with Miss Deb about being her manager. But that kind of could be awkward, because you just basically fired her son, which that came up. But Bow kept it real. He kept it 100 with Zonique and said, you know, she's managed Gucci, she's managed Nicki, and she's managed Waka. And those are big people in the music field. And, you know, I don't know if Bow really feels like Zonique is ready for that. at this time, and to be honest, I feel like she needs to get her feet a little bit more wetter in that field, because you competing against, well, Gucci, Nicki, and Waka. So yeah. So moving on to the next thing. This was so awkward because at the turkey giveaway, Aya introduced Amy to Brandon, and Brandon had pulled Amy aside like, hey, we need to get together so I can get to know you better. So in the next scene, it was Brandon and Amy date. And okay, I'm not the biggest Brandon fan, and I don't want to keep going on about him, so we're gonna keep this simple. But he is really like annoying and very, very like, oh, like he's very nosy. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but you know, on this little get to know Amy date, because that's his cousin Anya's girlfriend, which she's trying to, you know, let Brandon meet her first before she introduced Amy to her father, DJ Hurricane, because she explained in this episode that none of her girlfriends have ever met her father. And so this would be the first one that would meet her father since coming out as a lesbian. So Brandon takes it upon himself to get to know Amy. And you know, one of the comments that he made, because he's always commenting on something, he says that you turned her out. So, I mean, what if she did? What if she didn't? That's none of your business. So that leads me to believe that Anya's been going back and telling Brandon about, because she kept saying the situation instead of relationship. I guess people call it situations or whatever. So Anya's probably been opening up her mouth to Brandon about Amy, and this got him to getting prejudging Amy, like, well, you know, by him saying, I don't believe you're the right one for her, and you turned her out. Like, what business of that is yours? Like, dude, where is your relationship or your situation? Okay. So anyway, let's move on to the serious matter about Bow Wow's father. Now, on the show, it looked like Bow was on Instagram, but they kept saying Twitter, so we'll just call it social media because it looked like it was an Instagram post. So anyway, Bow's father goes in on a picture of Bow Wow and Jermaine Dupri, like in his earlier days of, you know, hip hop or whatever. And his father commented and said that Jermaine Dupri is not your father. I am. And instantly, Bow has this situation where he does not care for his father too much. They don't have a good relationship because his father was an alcoholic. And I guess, you know, their last encounter, Bow said, was at a liquor event. Something about he had some vodka brand coming out, and that was the last time he actually seen his father or something like that, and it wasn't a good situation. I mean, come on now, alcoholic coming to a liquor event, he will show up, right? Okay. Sorry if I'm clearing my throat a little bit too much, guys. I'm trying not to sound too nasally on this video, but unfortunately my allergies are bothering me today, but I'm not gonna let that stop the show, okay? So hopefully y'all don't mind that. But anyway, so Bow's situation with his father, and it's just a little, I feel really bad because he wants no parts of his father. And later in the episode, we'll discuss about Miss Debs, because we know her. She likes to bring people together. We know this from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, like how she has people sit down and she's normally the mediator in a lot of situations, which I get, but we'll get to that in a minute. So basically, Bow's not too happy about his father's comment, and then he commented back on that. And then we move on to Toya and Reginae. Reginae comes up in a lot of topics. Shay and I just did a video, which I'll link below in the description box. We just did a video on the situation between Tamar, Tiny, Reginae, and Toya. It's like they all blended into this gossip mess, but we just talked about that. But you know, with Reginae, Very beautiful girl. I love her mother, Toya. I respect her mother. I was a fan of Lil Wayne back in the day, but some things have changed in my, in my hip hop game. So, shout out to Lil Wayne, but you know what I mean. He's kind of changed a little bit. But anyway, Reginae comes to her mother and says, I want a 90s themed birthday party, 18th birthday party. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched the Sweet 16 special. I'm sure it was on MTV because they're the only ones that programmed the Sweet 16. But she had like a extravagant Sweet 16 birthday party. Now, if she's 17 now, that was a year ago, or necessarily in this taping, it was 2 years ago probably. So Toya's like, I'm not having it. I'm not spending all that money again. She doesn't think that a 90s themed birthday party is worth for an 18th birthday. Instead, like maybe like a nice dinner with friends and family, something very intimate, not very extravagant. She's just like, I'm not having it. So, and then plus she's still lingering about, setting Miss Deb straight about her son commenting on, Lil Wayne or whatever. So, in this scene, you could tell that Reginae probably more than likely is going to go to her father and, get her way. I'm going to just say this one time, and that's it. You can't always run to your parents. I mean, in some cases, maybe, but in other cases, like, once you turn 18, you are an adult. And the thing about it is, like, I can't say anything because, I mean, she's going to do what she wants to do. But, I mean, doggone it, do you have to run to your parents for everything? Like, do they always have to have your back? I mean, well, they're always going to have your back. But you get what I'm saying? Like, if one person says no, then get over it, okay? So, moving on to Miss Deb. So, she sees what's going on between Bow Wow and his father on Instagram. And in the meantime, she puts that in the back of her head. Like I said before, we'll get into Miss Deb wanting to be the mediator and stuff like that. But so in this particular scene, Zonique meets with Miss Deb because she wants her to manage her. She literally wants her to manage her. But Miss Deb was blunt. She said that you should be going further than what you are now. And you probably need to fire your mother. I mean, that's gut-wrenching, right? Hold on. I'm messing up here. That's gut-wrenching. So, but it's the truth. Like, we all know Miss Debs is going to basically tell the truth. Like, if you want to survive in this career, basically you got to work hard for it because you already have that silver spoon in your mouth. Your mother is Tiny, your stepfather is T.I., and people are going to be like, well, she just got that career handed to her, so she really has to work hard for it, which I get. And I thought that was some great advice coming from Miss Debs because, like, she basically was real blunt and was like, look, this is how it is. This is not a game. And you don't want people to, say, well, she just got that handed to her and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's true. You do have to work hard for things but unfortunately, in the celebrity lifestyle thing, a lot of things are handed to you, unfortunately. But I'm not a celebrity and my parents weren't, so I can't really speak for them. But the next thing was Reginae called Tiny and said, she said, my mama don't care nothing about nothing but herself, or some comment like that. And she basically was trying to tell Tiny, can you convince my mom to throw this 90s party for me for my 18th birthday, because that's like her aunt or whatever. And I just thought that was like so shady. Like, how you gonna tell somebody that your mama don't care nothing about anybody but herself? Like, she just stuck up for you in the beginning of this episode. Rewind and watch it, honey. Like, she's always got your back. Your mother has your best interest at heart. Like, hands down. Even your father. But just because you can't have your way, like, what are you going to do when you... Let me not even get started, because the girl probably ain't going to have no bills to pay. Or, like, just... Let me not pull my long, beautiful hair out. Cat. Let's move on to Bow Wow talking to his mother, because in this scene it was really important. She said some really vital things to Bow, because even though her and, I don't know if they were ever married, but you know, her and Bow Wow's father, you know, must have had a very turbulent relationship as Bow Wow was growing up. And so he talked to his mom about, you know, his father's comments and the issues that he has with his father still to this day, being a grown man and a father himself. And his mother said something about, you know, you need to pray for him and continue to move forward. You know, just pray for him. But that's where she is mentally, because you can tell she's let go, she's moved on. Bao still harbors some really bad feelings with his father. And you know, it might take him therapy, it might take him meditation, it might take him a while to get over with his father leaving him and being an alcoholic and then coming in and out of his life as being a celebrity. That can be very hard, so I can understand why he feels the way he feels. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, at the end of the day, it just matters that he can just move on, I guess. But it's kind of hard to when your father is sitting up here commenting on pictures of, you know, you and your mentor, someone who has mentored your career, who has stepped in to be a father figure and a big brother figure to you in the time of need, especially in this harsh industry. Sorry. But anyway, but his mother basically says, well, what example are you sending for your daughter? What message are you sending to your daughter, you know, as you being a father? You know what I mean? So that's a big question mark there that he has to think about, because the same question comes up with someone else, meaning Miss Debs. So, in the next scene, Amy meets with Anya at a dinner. They have like a little romantic, intimate dinner, and Anya asked about the date with Brandon, and Amy said it was very awkward, and the fact that he said that he feels that she's responsible for turning Anya out, which made Anya mad. So she basically, I don't know, did she ask in this episode? I'm trying to think if she asked in this episode if she's still gonna meet with her father, because she would be the first girlfriend. I'm not sure if she asked her or not, but all I know is she was really upset about Brandon's little comment to Amy, and how she felt uncomfortable because she just stood up for him with the whole Reginae beef. And so now you basically throwing shade at me, like in my situation with this person, knowing that I'm kind of nervous introducing her to my father. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Brandon fan, so let's go ahead and move on. I'm so serious, like I really am not. So, Toya and Tiny go out for a girls' night or whatever, and Tiny brings up to Toya about what Reginae called her about, saying that, you know, she said that you don't care nothing about nobody but yourself and da 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 da. And Toya was pissed. I mean, clear as day on her face. Like, she wears her emotions, and I do too. And for your child to be so disrespectful, to cause someone else to think that you could talk about me as a mom, like I don't care about nobody but myself, like, girl, bye. You going on an elevator when your mom call you, you going on an elevator coming downstairs. You're not walking down the stairs like normal people. You going on an elevator. Your mom don't care nothing about herself. Get your act together, girl. Like, seriously, like, I mean it. So in the next clip, Bao's back in the studio. Looks like he's focused, and you know, because we all know he was in party mode, and Jermaine Dupri wasn't having that the last couple of episodes. And even last episode, in episode 3, Jermaine Dupri invited Snoop Dogg to talk to Bow Wow to basically give him words of encouragement, like, you need to get back on your grind because now you starting to jog when you was running. I thought that was a really good quote, because a lot of us do that. We start jogging, and almost walking and then baby steps. You know what I'm saying? Instead of keep running towards your goals. I get it, Snoop. I get what you're saying. But anyway, Miss Debs, now we're going to talk about that. Miss Debs pays Bow a visit. And basically, she dives right into the conversation like, I knew your father. He stayed with me for, I think she said 2 weeks, and she helped him. And she basically said like she had issues with men in her life as well, but she forgave them, and how he needs to move on and forgive his father as well. Just like his mom said, you're a father and you need that closure. And she wants him. I mean, Miss Debs, like, loving hip-hop, growing up hip-hop, it don't matter. She wants everybody to get along, and I get that. She wants, you know, Bow to make amends with his father. And she basically said they need to sit down and talk face to face and be men, so that way Bow can move on. But he's not having it. He basically is not having it. And through, like, you know how they preview through the episodes of what's coming up next, you see Miss Debs planning to have a sit down with Bow's father. And we'll get into that in a minute. But Toya confronts Reginae about her little smart comment. And, you know, she was like, basically like, you did, not in so many words, but she was disrespectful for doing that. But because Reginae actually did not call her dad this time, didn't Toya say, well, since you didn't call your dad and ask him, I might as well throw this 90s theme birthday party for you. This girl get her... Moving on. Anya meets with Brandon in the next scene. So she confronts Brandon, asking him why he had to say those little smart comments about, you know, Amy turning her out. And then also the fact that now that's making a bad impression for her father. And she's already nervous, like, hey, Dad, this is my girlfriend, Amy. We've been, you know, kicking it for, you know, however much time. And, you know, I want you to meet her. Like, I'm tired of talking about Brandon, okay? Like, he's just a pot stirrer. Like, he just sit there, or he a sideliner. He be the main one starting the drama and then sit on the side. You a grown-ass man, aren't you? Anyway, Aya basically told him he was wrong for joking about the Lil Wayne situation, because he said it was a joke, but clearly that's not a joke. And even though Lil Wayne has his issues with the whole Black Lives Matter comment, you still don't make a joke about his whole career, because Lil Wayne started from the gutter, now he's here. Now he's here. So where are you? It looks like you're living at your mom's house. You're a grown-ass man, aren't you? Okay, so we're basically, Anya was like, somebody gonna knock you out one day, and let me be the first one sitting there. I'll be on the first thing smoking when somebody finally knocks this boy out, because I'm so tired of his mouth. And, you know, looking at the previews, it looked like he done said some other stuff, you know, in the next coming up episodes, and it looked like somebody is gonna knock him out. And I can't wait to be on the edge of the seat watching it too. Anyway, Zonique, this thing was Zonique and Tiny. Zonique told Tiny that she met with Miss Debs, and basically she, you know, was kind of scared to say it, but then she was just like, I kind of want my space from you. And so Tiny was like, so are you firing me? And Zonique was like, yeah. So Tiny walks away. No hard feelings, but she was in her feelings, because she was like, you gonna need me tomorrow morning. I know she'll be back, and blah, 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 this and that. So basically, Zonique fired Tiny as her momager. But I think Tiny's still ahead of the AR department for her daughter, which I get. But you know what? She's probably not completely fired. She's going to confide in her mom in a couple of things and ask for advice and yada, 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 yada. So we already know, like, she's not completely fired. And then she goes ahead and tells Debs, like, through text, that I did fire my mom. But at that same scene, Miss Debs, I'm sorry, I don't want to say Deb because that's like a friend. Miss Debs is kind of like like a mom to me. So at the same time, she's texting Miss Debs. Miss Debs is like, I'll talk to you later. I'm meeting with someone. And at this thing, it of course ended, but basically she's meeting with Bal's dad. Cuts off. End of episode 4. But yeah, it was a mess. But you know, I get where Miss Debs is coming from, like how she wants to make amends with these men. But Val clearly was like, I don't want nothing to do with him. But sometimes you need closure. It's important, especially if you're an adult and you went through all those issues with a parent in your childhood and growing up, and then you're a parent yourself now and you're like, how could this person leave me as a child? Those are questions that you need to ask that person, or to at least get out of your mouth, even if they're not listening. I mean, it sounds simple and cliche or whatever, but sometimes if you need to vent and get it out, yell at the person, whatever you need to do, you might need to do it. Even write them a letter. But he clearly said that he doesn't want to meet with him, so I guess we'll find out next week what's going to happen with that. So what do you guys think about this episode? I'm nosy. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you guys think. I thought it was crazy. I got tired of talking about Brandon, as you can tell, because I'm just, Shay always says it's always a villain in a reality show, and she is not lying. Like, she's not lying, because to me, he's a villain because he's always stirring that pot. He's always, and then sitting on the sideline, just like, whack. Anyway, so leave your comments below. And like I said, be sure to subscribe too, because we got more videos coming weekly. And also pretty soon we'll be getting a quote of the week up. So that way we can give you some motivation to start your week off as well. Because I know we do a lot of recaps and reviews, but we got other things coming. Let me stop rambling, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming to Writer's Vlogs.
In the description box, you'll find
links to our social media,
blog,
and anything else you need to know.
Be sure to rate,
comment,
and subscribe to our channel.
Mwah!